Hey guys, it's me again, Eric here at Mountaintop 9, and tonight I want to do my top 10 slasher film list. Now, if you're a longtime viewer of my channel, you'll know that about 3 years ago, maybe almost 4 years ago, I did a slasher rant video. And in that video, I just kind of off the top of my head talked about many different slasher films that I enjoy. Well, this video is going to be a concise list in order of preference. So starting out at number 10 comes Honeymoon Horror. Now, what do I like about Honeymoon Horror? First and foremost, I love the isolated setting. You have these honeymooning couples, you know, they just got married and they're hot and horny and they're ready to get on that bed and do some fucking and then eat steak and potatoes afterwards. And I'm being serious, they literally do get food sent to their goddamn cabin rooms. They get like steak and a baked fucking potato. After they have a nice bout of hot sex, they're gonna sit down and eat their potatoes, for Christ's sake. And anyway, these couples, they're just wanting, you know, to have a nice time on this fucking island. Well, turns out there's a badly scarred, disfigured killer running around, and he's offing people one by one. And man, this movie just has a lurid atmosphere about it. It's super low budget, and it's one that I like to put on late at night, and it makes me feel good to watch this one. I love revisiting it from time to time. And the man that did the score to this movie is named Ron DeLio, and he did the score to Mountaintop Motel Massacre. Okay, so I just like his style. I like the sounds that he comes up with. So anyway, at number 10 would be Honeymoon Horror. Now, at number 9, I have The Prowler. Now, The Prowler to me is a flawed slasher film. It's not perfect by any stretch. There are long gaps in the middle of this movie where the pace just comes to a crawl. But what really catapults this movie in my mind and makes it so that I have to put it on the list are the special effects by Tom Savini. That throat-slitting scene in the swimming pool is just pulled off. It's so brutal. The way that scene is shot and the way the effects are executed with the blood dripping down super crimson red. And then there's a scene in here where this girl gets the pitchfork in the shower, and then another guy, he gets a bayonet, all right? This knife goes right through the top of his skull and then down and out his chin. And then you see his eyeballs rolling up in his head. Those effects are absolutely legendary, and I just have to have this movie on the list. For that reason alone, because Tom Savini did such an outstanding job with the special effects, and they're so iconic in my mind. Those scenes are so iconic in my mind that even though I think The Prowler is very flawed, I gotta put it at number 9 for those effects alone. So, that's the number 9. Now, at number 8, I have a movie that has grown in my estimation. I like it and enjoy it more now than I did a few years ago, and that movie is Madman. Now, the thing about Madman that's great is it's totally set at night. Out there in the woods, they shot all the scenes at night. They're very well lit. It adds to the ambience. There's a great atmosphere to this movie. The thing about Madman is for a few years, I thought people talked it up too much. It seemed to be kind of getting overrated in my mind because it's all you heard was Madman this, Madman that, Madman this, Madman that. And it was even being shown on certain cable channels. Well, that was really fucking annoying me. I don't know, just hearing this movie talked about so goddamn much. Because, I mean, when I was growing up, when I first watched it, no one was talking about this fucking movie. You know what I mean? I'm sure it had fans out there. But there wasn't social media back then. So you didn't have, you know, overbearing voices all coming together in a loud chorus talking about the same film. Whenever that happens, sometimes that can kind of become overbearing. But man, overall, I think Madman is rated just right. It's a very solid slasher flick, and that's why I have to put it at number 8. Now, coming in at number 7, I have Final Exam. Now, what do I love about Final Exam? I love the fact that the killer is a mysterious person. He's someone that just lurks around every corner, and you question his identity. You don't know what drives this guy, all right? You never learn what is driving him, what trauma, what mental illness, whatever it is that's making him, just off these people one by one. You never kind of get a feel for it. And that mystery is what I really like about Final Exam. I really enjoy that kind of mysterious nature about who is this killer? What is his identity? What is his purpose? And what is making him do what he's doing? So I really like that. That adds a lot to the mystique of this movie. And this movie just has some really good suspense because of that, because of the mysteriousness of the perpetrator. It just adds overall to the tension. So Final Exam would be my number 7. And now we can move along to my number 6. And number 6 is a movie called Unhinged. This one really knocked my goddamn socks off the first time I watched it because I had missed out on it for many years. I didn't see this movie. I was probably about 19 when I finally saw this one. So it was pretty late in the running, okay? I had missed out on this movie when I was younger. So when I saw it when I was 19, 20 years old, I was like, man, this is a good one. I love the atmosphere of it. I love the score. It's got a great, creepy synthesizer score that really gets under your skin. And I love the ending. The ending twist is really good. It kind of gives you goosebumps. It leaves you feeling uneasy when you shut the movie off, especially if you're watching it late at night. And there's also the isolated setting. That's a very important thing in a slasher movie. It takes place in this really beautiful mansion out in the middle of a forest. So I love that, man. Just a really good movie. Now, it's slow going. This is a slower movie. But if you're a hardcore slasher fan, if you're a hardcore horror fan that just loves 70s and 80s stuff, man, you can't go wrong with Unhinged. It's a slow burn, so give it a watch. And moving along, at number 5, I have Killer Party. Killer Party is a great one because it combines supernatural elements with slasher. And it gets really creepy towards the end when the characters start getting bumped off one after another. I mean, the whole first half of this movie, a lot of it seems kind of lighthearted. And you only get these very brief, sinister flourishes, okay? It's a big setup and all the way until you get to about the last 20 minutes or so. But you kind of got to keep watching because there's this sense of mystery. You know that something demonic is going on beneath the surface in this film, and it finally comes out at the end. This movie also makes nice use of the guillotine. Now, one thing I'm disappointed in is that even though this movie has a guillotine and everything, instead of showing heads getting chopped off and showing blood fly everywhere, this movie was super, super truncated. It was super edited down so that every murder in this movie goes by in a blip, in a nanosecond, so you don't really get to see any fucking blood or gore in this. But there's something about the feeling that this movie conveys. It's so scary during the last 5 to 10 minutes. This movie gets really scary, and because it's so creepy and so unsettling, I'm willing to overlook the fact that all of the violence was ripped out of the movie. Normally that would piss me off. It would make me really mad. But god damn, this movie left me with such a traumatized, scary feeling when I was a kid. Now, not as traumatized as Mountaintop Motel, mind you. That's a whole different thing. That's like a deep, emotionally scarring type thing. But Killer Party was something that when I shut it off, it did give me trouble sleeping, okay, back when I was a kid. And the ending is just super scary. So definitely check out Killer Party. Now, coming in at number 4, I have My Bloody Valentine. My Bloody Valentine has an excellent setting, taking place down in those mines. That's a perfect underground environment for lurking horror and suspense. This movie has some really mean-spirited kills in it that, for the longest time were cut out of the movie. But nowadays, you can go and get a release where, if you want, you can watch the film with the violent murders reinserted. Now, the quality isn't as good in these scenes because they were cut out of the film for the longest time. And so they don't have the same, kind of pristine quality to them. You know what I mean? But I don't care. I don't care that these scenes look as grungy and as dirty as they do because I feel like that just adds even more to the morbid and mean-spirited edge of the killings in this movie. I mean, it's just really great stuff. These violent scenes really add a ton to the overall tone of the movie. And I'll tell you what, when I was younger and I first watched this movie, I was really disappointed that all of this stuff was cut out. you know, and it kind of robbed my enjoyment of the movie for the longest time. But nowadays, now that you can see those violent scenes put back into the film, God, it just lifts My Bloody Valentine up to a higher plateau than it would have been. So that's why I put My Bloody Valentine at number 4. Moving along at number 3, I've got The Mutilator, also known as Fall Break. If you look right over there, I have a Fall Break poster signed to me from Buddy Cooper, the director, all right? And very proud of that over there. But anyway, what do I love about The Mutilator? God, the gore. All right, the murder scenes that were executed brilliantly by Mark Shostrom. The special effects are just pitch perfect, and they are super hardcore for the time. Some really good kills in this flick. And then you got the beachside setting right by the ocean, and it just adds so much to the overall atmosphere. I just love it, and I could go on and on about The Mutilator, but you've all heard me talk about The Mutilator before. I've reviewed it on this channel, and I'll also be talking about The Mutilator again in my 1985 best of video when I get to that. So anyway, at number 3, I've got The Mutilator. Now, coming in at number 2, Blood Rage, also known as Nightmare at Shadow Woods. Blood Rage is pure slasher movie heaven. I mean, the first time as I watched this movie and as I took it all in, I was almost rendered speechless, because you have a bombastic, over-the-top, pristine 80s slasher film score that just sends goosebumps running up and down your goddamn arm. I mean, it's just next level stuff. The score to this movie, you couldn't ask for a better score to an 80s slasher flick than this. The bloody special effects executed perfectly by Ed French. I mean, you've got severed heads, you've got lopped off hands, you've got everything you could ever ask for as a gorehound is coming. It's just flying at you in this movie. And Blood Rage just has the perfect pacing. Not for 1 minute are you bored in this movie. People listen up who make boring ass fucking movies. You want to see how a movie can start, have a middle, and have an end, and it all just flows like crisp ocean waves? Watch Blood Rage. That's entertainment, my friends. So Blood Rage is my number 2. Now, coming in at number 1 is Black Christmas. To me, for my money, this one will never change. Black Christmas, in my opinion, will always be number 1. I like the fact that you don't know who the hell the killer is. That just adds so much mystique. And it just makes you question so much in the movie, because you're wondering what makes this guy tick, and you get to make up a backstory in your mind. I love that element of the film, just like I was talking about with Final Exam earlier. I like how in Black Christmas it's the same way. You can just wonder in your head and you can kind of theorize about it. So I really enjoy that. I enjoy the setting there at the sorority house, the phone calls coming from inside the house. I mean, that's just a classic trope, you know, and Black Christmas was doing that, you know, a few years before When a Stranger Calls. So it's just a really cool trope for a horror film to use something like that. The calls are coming from inside the house. You know that that killer is lurking about, but the girls in the sorority, they're totally unaware of it. And I just like that. You feel that tension just building and building throughout the duration of the film. I like the Carl Zittrer score. Okay, he's really good at doing these piano sounds with filtering effects on them, you know, just changing the pitch, just making you feel uneasy, making you feel like everything is off balance. I like that. And Bob Clark's direction is excellent. Just the camera angles, everything. And that ending, man, it sticks with you. That's an ending, once again, just like I was talking about with Killer Party, where when that movie's over, you feel uneasy and you just feel very unsettled. I felt the same way watching Black Christmas for the first time, man. That ending, it's chilling stuff. It really is. When that camera pans down that hallway and you start to hear that Carl Zittrer, you know, those sounds on the piano, you know, those really weird processed sounds where the pitch just sounds it has this really sinister reverberation to it. Man, that is really excellent stuff, and it just lifts Black Christmas up into the heavens as far as slasher films are concerned. So, Black Christmas is my number one, and that is set in stone, my friends. That will never change. Now, I'll tell you this right now. You may notice I didn't mention Mountaintop Motel Massacre. Well, it's because, like I said before, Mountaintop Motel Massacre, I don't consider it a slasher film, okay? I just don't. I'm not going to drag this video on and on explaining that. Not, at least not in this video, so I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't consider Mountaintop Motel Massacre a slash film. Now, it has a slasher element. It has someone going around killing people, okay? Bumping people off. But there is so much else going on in Mountaintop Motel Massacre that I just can't pigeonhole it as a slasher. Some other ones that I love immensely, but I don't consider them slasher films, so I didn't put them in this video. Those are Maniac, Nightmare, Don't Go in the House, Don't Answer the Phone, The Disturbance, Fatal Exposure. You know, those movies all have, you know, slasher aspects to them, just like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But I don't consider them slasher films. They're not pure slasher in my mind, okay? It takes several distinct elements coming together, all right? You know a slasher movie when you see it, okay? And those movies, those are great horror films, don't get me wrong. But I don't want to call them slasher movies because it just doesn't feel right. The movies on this top 10 list right here, they are slasher movies, no doubt about it. So anyway, guys, that's my top 10 list. I want to see down in the comment section, list off your top 10 or list your top 5. Whatever you can come up with, let me know what you think of my list and let me know what movies that you really love, what slashers really stick out to you. I'm sure down in the comment section, I'm going to see people mentioning stuff like The Burning and Killer Workout and The Dorm That Dripped Blood and House on Sorority Row and Curtains and on and on and on. There's so many cool ones. While I'm at it, I want to mention something else. Another movie that I love so damn much is The Redeemer, also known as Class Reunion Massacre. That's another one like Maniac, Nightmare, Mountaintop Motel. I don't consider it pure slasher film, okay? I just don't. I just do not consider it a pure slasher film. It has, like I said, it has slasher tendencies, but it's not a pure slasher, so that's why it wasn't on this list as well. But I must say, The Redeemer did influence a pure slasher flick, and that one is Slaughter High. I'm sure someone will mention how much they love that one, which is cool, because Slaughter High is a cool flick. So anyway, guys, I'm not going to rattle on any longer. Let me know in the comments section what you thought of this video. Let me know your favorite slashers. And guess what, guys? I'll be seeing you again real soon.